Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to talk about my to be read list for January. I will be honest, it is a little ambitious, so we'll see how many I get through, but I have faith we can do this. I think so, especially because I've already started the first one. This one I brought with me into the holiday break, and I knew it was going to require a little bit more mental dexterity than the holidays usually allow me. And that is Murakami's The City and Its Uncertain Walls. I gonna wait to do an in-depth conversation about it until I finish it. But I'm a huge Murakami fan, and I don't know if this one in particular is giving me what I need from Murakami. I know that it is based on a short story slash novella that he published years and years ago, I think in his 30s. So I think it was like almost 40 years ago when he published it. And I know he wasn't happy with it and he's not allowed it to be published in book form anywhere. And so he took that story and then developed it into this novel. Intrigued to see if any of you have read it, and intrigued to get to the end to see if I feel like we take a big turn and it suddenly becomes successful. But up to this point, it's just not quite working. And it is interesting. I feel like oftentimes Murakami sags for me a little bit in the middle. But this one, the first half to me kind of sagged a little bit, and there's a lot of repetition. But we'll see. I'm intrigued to finish. Please let me know if you all have read it. I really hope it gives me what I need. I love him so much. The next book is You Dreamed of Empires. It is part of the New York Times top 5 fiction books of 2024. It's the last one on that list for me to read, and I'm super intrigued to tackle it and then have a conversation about that list. I have heard varying things about this title. I've heard that the names are Insanity the Musical, and I'm intrigued to see how that plays out, particularly because it's not very long. And I think oftentimes with these titles that have these complex character names, these complex ideas, they need a little bit more space to breathe to really be handled successfully. So we'll see. Listen, I was fully on board with 3 of the 5 from 2023's list. I'm again on board with 3 of the 5 of this list for 2024. Let's see if this one makes it 4 out of 5. Now for completely different fare, I needed a little bit of brain candy for this coming month, and I am going to tackle a Reese's Book Club First Lie Wins. Is this my genre? No. Am I excited about it? Yeah. Am I excited enough that I bought my father and my stepmother copies of it so we could all read it together? Yeah. So we'll see. What have I heard about this book? I've actually heard mixed things. My sister convinced me to read it. I've heard that it doesn't quite work. I've heard that the mystery is a little lackluster. Um, but yeah, but I also trust my sister, and she's no dummy, and I think that she's got good taste. So we'll see if I like it. I need a good mystery, especially I'm from the United States of Texas. So I love a good Southern mystery, John Grisham-esque kind of moment. So it should be fun. I'm excited for a mystery and to kind of expand my horizons. I think in 2025 I'm going to read a little less highbrow literary fiction and try to really see what else is out there. I'm wondering if that will help keep me out of certain reading slumps. We'll see. Because if it's written poorly, that might just put me in a worse reading slump. I don't know, TBD. We're all figuring it out here, one day at a time. Okay, this next one, I've fully been convinced by the book talks, the bookstagrams, the booktubes of it all. The third book is coming out this month, and I'm finally going to dive into Fourth Wing. We'll see. Listen, a lot of y'all love it. Again, not my genre. We are starting out 2025 with a lot of stretch. We're going to expand our horizons. Yeah, not my genre, but not mad about it. I'm intrigued. I hear there's a lot of tawdry goings ons. I think there's some dragons. I've heard that the second book is basically the same plot as the first book, which bums me out a little, but we're not worried about the second book yet. We're working on getting through the first one. I'm really excited. If any of you all have read it and if you have tips for getting through it, or if you loved it or hated it, please let me know. I feel like I'm the last one to start this. Though there have been some other people over on TikTok who have mentioned that they also had it on their nightstand and have not dove in yet. So if you are also one of those people, let's just rip off the band-aid and do it this January, because like, why not? Especially because everybody's gonna be talking about book three. So at least you can get book one in there and halfway participate in the conversation. This other one is maybe a little esoteric and like maybe a little just the cheese stands alone, but this is the Impusium. This author won the Nobel Prize a couple years ago, maybe 2 years ago. And I had started the books of Jacob and I just have not finished it yet. It's a little Baroque for me and it's just like such a honker. And but I liked the author and I've heard great things. I was reading the books of Jacob in Central Park and someone stopped me and she said, "Oh my gosh, don't give up on this book. Keep going, keep reading it." And actually, I forgot that that happened. So I may pick that one back up in February. But in anticipation of that, I'm going to read this smaller, much more digestible title of hers. I've heard good things. It's been on like certain kind of random lists. So yeah, I'm doing that, which is kind of a book I think just for me, but I would love it if you all read along with me. Have any of you read that one? I'm super intrigued. And was it? The subtitle is like a health resort horror story. I mean, obsessed, right? Into it. Okay, this next one. My book club read the plot for December because we're reading the sequel in January. The plot was not my favorite. I'm not going to lie to you. I feel like the twist was projected a mile and a half away. It was very obvious to me. What will the sequel bring us? Who could say? Who could say? Listen, I hope that it will make me enjoy the plot more. Do I think a book should require a sequel for you to enjoy it? No. Am I hopeful that it does? Yes. Because I don't know if I can fully read another book where like the big twist that like which is the purpose of reading that type of book, right? Is projected that far out. It just stopped making it fun for me. But that said, the author did employ like certain literary techniques that I thought built tension in a really exciting way. If she's able to do that in this one and not give away the twist, and listen, I hope I'm wrong. And the final book that I'll be reading in January, and I'm only reading this because the readers on Goodreads voted this book the number one fiction book of 2024, is The Wedding People. Now, listen, I started reading it on a live where we would discuss different parts of the book. I was not impressed. I was not impressed. And it's a bummer because these Read with Jenna books, some of them, she picks some incredible books, which I was a little surprised by, but I'm probably projecting some of my opinions about the lineage than that woman as a person, which is on me. But yeah, I it read very early reader in terms of like the author would say the character's name who was speaking like 7 times in a very short period of time. And in that way, it kind of turned me off. It's quippy. It is a little snarky, which is funny to me. There's a lot of dark humor in it, which I appreciate, but it's not good. So we'll see. I don't know. Have you all read it? Again, this is maybe part of my like 2025, like, you know, letting our hair down. We're expanding genres. I mean, I think in January alone, one, two, three, four are kind of outside my standard genre, if you will. Like, obviously, You Dreamed of Empires is kind of right within my wheelhouse. The Murakami, I mean, I've been looking forward to it for like months. The Impusium, clearly. But First Light Wins, Fourth Wing, The Wedding People, and the sequel, I'm being influenced by the people. And listen, I'm excited to have my mind changed. I guarantee I'm going to love some of this. I actually think out of the ones that are kind of pushing me out of my comfort zone, I think First Lie Wins is going to really steal my attention. And I'm really excited to start that one. I may start it tonight. I say that. I'm in the middle of several books. I need to finish those first. And then the next one I pick up will be First Light Wins. So, what are on your to be read lists for January? I'm super intrigued. If you don't have one yet, I would love for you to pick some of these and we can read them together and then talk about them on here. I think that'd be really fun. Yeah, I'm excited to connect later this week. Talk to you soon.